brush, you know, my down here in New York Nights perfume. I have to only put a little bit on because he will get sick. And if you think about perfume, well, gee, what about all the other chemicals? Hairspray, again with aerosols, off. I'm at the point now, if anybody says, you want some off? No, fine. Thank you. I don't want those chemicals on my body. And there's those coils you can get at the dollar store, Dollar Tree and other stores, but at the Dollar Tree it's only $1. That, I think it has some citronella in it, and you burn it, and that's something else that will keep the insects away. So we can choose what kind of chemicals we want to ingest. And we can also choose to make our own homemade insect, bug sprays, weed killers. My dad is a commercial farmer. And it's sad because when it's time to spray the grapes, you don't want to be out there. So grapes are the #1 fruit. I've been doing research on that in our country that have the most pesticide. So it would behoove you if you do not get organic grapes. If you get commercial grapes, and if you get commercial GMO grapes, wash them very, very thoroughly because there are chemicals on the skin of the grapes. Another thing that we had talked about in prior classes, this young lady asked me, what do I do about splinters? And anytime someone has a question, I love it because I love to do research. And if I don't know the answer, I will find out. And one of the coolest things I found out was baking soda, which is cheap and which we all have in our pantries and our medicine cabinets, mixed with equal parts of water. You make a little poultice baking soda. You put it on the affected area where you have the splinter, and you put the paste on there, and you let it rest overnight with a Band-Aid over it. In the morning, you take the Band-Aid off, and the poultice will have pulled it out of your skin. So that's a safe way of getting it out, as opposed to nail clippers that you dip in hot water or burn with a match to sanitize it, or a needle which you poke, because sometimes those splinters can hurt. And there's also an aromatic remedy that you will find in your pamphlet on how to get rid of splinters. Insect bites, that's very interesting. Some people say it's good to use meat tenderizer. There are other remedies too, and you'll find that in your pamphlet. Out of all the different insect repellents, I got excited when we found this nice one. And then Sarah, I can't remember which one you used from the email because I left it at home.
In the packet, it's right on the first page, I think. Yes. Okay. Actually, it's 1 to 20. Okay. This should have said 1 to 30. But so
you want to tell us how they get out?
So on the first page, it talks about making your own insect repellent. We found a lot of different kind of slightly varied versions of the same thing, and the source that I liked said for maybe like 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup liquid, whether it's water, witch hazel, oil, whatever you want to use. It said use up to maybe 30 drops of essential oil, but it also said if you can get by using less, that's fine. I think the woman for some reason said less is more.
Probably because it's concentrated.
Sure, that's true.
Right?
Exactly.
And the potency is enough that you don't need to add too much.
Right. So the recipe on here says 30 drops of essential oil for 1/3 of a cup, but if you read her notes above it, it would be kind of like 1 to 30. You might start with a little bit less, also because essential oils, they're not the cheapest thing. I think maybe a bottle might cost about like $6 to $10 depending on what you're purchasing. So if you can get by using less and you notice that it works, to just use 5 drops of citronella in 1/3 of a cup of water instead of 1/3 of a cup witch hazel. Use less. There's no need to use 30 on that. I used about, so the bottles will hand out, I would say maybe a 1/4 or 1/3 of a cup. I probably use like 15 drops, so you can see how that works for you. If you find you need something stronger, you can add a little more, but it smells pretty. Actually, while we were putting it together today, Mike was helping me. He's filming. And people kept walking by and saying, "Oh my God, what is that smell?" And some people like the smell, and some people hopefully reacted like the mosquitoes and said, "That's the worst smell I've ever smelled, the citronella." So,
Wow.
it was very strong when we were putting it together. My face actually turned red.
Okay, maybe that goes hand in hand with being a well-ventilated area.
Sure.
Which is important.
Yeah.
But I think Sarah and Mike and everyone else here at Chautauqua County Rural Ministry helped put together this beautiful workshop. And normally I'm a little bit more hands-on, but I was pressed for time this month. But one thing that I'm not pressed for is the love that I have for using natural products and doing research for ways that we can help prevent chemical imbalances that occur due to chemicals, and also preventing harm to the environment, to animals, and to one another. Because if you're educated, and if you know that something that contains all these toxic chemicals aren't good, then don't buy it. Don't use it. Don't even offer it to somebody. Because what you're doing is you're adding to the problem of chemical disease, which becomes disease. And some of these chemicals leach into our systems, and sometimes we don't see the damage until it's too late, or we see the gradual damage over time. So here I go. I'm just going to show you the one-to-one equal parts of water and vinegar, natural weed killer. This is something so simple that you could do at home. Yeah, it is vinegar.
I was expecting.
Okay, so this is just one-to-one vinegar and water. And this is something you can do easily at home. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And you use it one-to-one. One-to-one. So I use 1 cup of each. Or you can use 2 cups of each, but the ratio is 1-to-1. So this, see? 1-to-1. Can you see? So that really pretty much sums it up, because I just wanted to do the bug spray. One example of a nice natural bug repellent that you could have, that you can make, that you don't have to use chemicals that are going to harm the environment, other people, or animals. And then another weed killer that you can do on your own at home that's very cost effective, and it's not going to cause extra damage to the environment, yourself, or other people, or animals. And then at your own leisure, look at these wonderful pamphlets. We have the second pamphlet, Natural Pest Control 101.
I'll finish handing that out now.
And again, there will be links to different web pages. And there's also going to be some lists of beneficial bugs that you want to keep and encourage returning to your garden, as opposed to the pests that you don't want that would harm your crops. And let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, this is all pretty much wonderfully put together. There's all kinds of information for you to check out on your own. But if you get a chance to buy this book, Amazon.com sells it, I think $12. This has been a wonderful source for me, and I'm still reading up and learning a lot. So that way, when I have time to garden next year, one thing that I want you to keep note of is when Sarah showed us the garden, those of you that came to the open house, they had, was it marigolds in with the vegetables? There are certain flowers that you would like to intermix with your vegetables because they will keep the bugs away. One of them is marigolds, another one is nasturtium. And nasturtium grows like vines, like crazy. And it's so beautiful, and it's also edible. I've made cheesecakes and decorated them with nasturtium and eaten them. I've had nasturtium in my salads. So maybe next spring, I'll lead a workshop on edible flowers. And I will show you how to sugar flowers so we can decorate with cakes, cupcakes, cookies, whatnot. Just how to work with the bounty of nature that's around us in a healthful, conscious, environmental way. Yes?
How about hair clippings for rabbits?
Oh, that's one thing that'll keep deer away.
Oh, deer, okay.
Yes. If you have human hair,
Yes.
that'll keep deer away from your crops. And I also believe rabbits. And I think you might find that information in some of the pamphlet and one of the websites.